Hello everyone, it's Gina from orchidandopal.com, and today I am back with the double rotating Beads of the Month Club that I received for October 2022. This time around I have their brand new Gemstone Beads Club. They introduced that at the beginning of this year, and this is the third one that I have the opportunity to check out. Looks like we got some green aventurine. And you are more than welcome to sign up to get their gemstone selection every month if you wanted to. They do have two different sizes of each of their clubs. This happens to be the double size, so the larger one, which provides you with twice the quantity of beads and pendants. And if you decide to do their rotating club, they will rotate you through all 6 of their clubs. So every month you'll get something different, and then it'll start the cycle again for the next 6 months. In case you're new here, I do have a playlist with tons and tons of these unboxings, so you can check out a lot of the past clubs that they've sent and get a feel for which ones might be right for you. I'll also leave the link to Beads of the Month Club right down below the video, so you can find out all the information there that you need to know about signing up and cost and shipping. And I also have a coupon code if you'd like to try them out. That code is OPAL10. OPAL 10, and that will save you 10% off the first month of a new club. Now you can see I also have an additional bag in front of our aventurine. I have the Findings Companion Pack for this month, and that is an optional add-on that you can choose to select to receive if you have at least one ongoing beading subscription. And that is an additional $12.95 with no additional shipping cost added on to your beading club. Let's get into that first before we get into our beads, and it looks like our selection this month is going to contain some bright silver findings, and I highly recommend these companion packs because they do typically include some unique things that maybe you wouldn't have thought to pick out yourself, and they're always filled with higher quality metallic components, so I feel like the value is definitely there, and they send you a different type of finish or color every single month, so you'll get things that coordinate with each other for that month's selection, but then you'll get something different every time also. So as you can see, we have our list of everything that's included in the Findings pack, and here's a sneak peek. I'll go ahead and take everything out so we can take a close-up look at everything one at a time. First on the list is the Squiggle Bookmark, super shiny and smooth, and it comes with the ring positioned at the top of that bookmark as well. Of course, you could make any kind of fun beaded shape or tassel or something and hang that from this bookmark. It's the same on both sides. Next, we have 4 of these connector links. They have the one loop on one side with 3 small loops on the other, so you could use these in a multi-strand type of application. And of course, using things like this to finish off your jewelry, really take everything up a notch, I think. And just like the bookmark, these have that bright, shiny silver with the very smooth feel. Next, this is really cool. This is a heart pinch bail. So if you look at it from this side, you can see that you could actually use this as a unique bail component to pinch that into a sort of pendant. And you have that open and minimalist heart-shaped design, which you could leave simple, or you could incorporate something in that open area too. They've included 2 of these bright, shiny silver magnetic clasps, and they are very magnetic. They're actually wanting to stick to each other. Next, we have what they're calling the Renaissance clasp. This is just a type of decorative toggle, slightly darker in tone than the other silver findings, but following with the very smooth and clean lines. And these pieces are the same on the front and the back. And then next we have something so simple, but something that I really need more of in my life are these oval jump rings. It's funny, I used 2 of these from a previous Findings companion pack just a couple days ago, and I need to have more of these in every color. The reason that I really like these, the split in the oval jump rings is off to the side, meaning when you use these in your application, like to attach a clasp or something, they're going to naturally fall into place so that that split isn't as prone to coming apart. Also, what I really like is that these are a 17 gauge. They're a heavier duty thickness, but still pretty easy to open and close with a couple pairs of pliers. Really great quality jump rings. We also have 2 pairs of these lever back style earring findings with the little flower detail that you can see on the front, which is situated right over top of that loop where you would attach your beadwork. And I've got one of them open for you so you can see what that looks like just popped open. We also have 2 pairs, or 4 total, of these 1 1/4 inch endless hoop earring findings. Another unique item in this findings companion pack. These are so simple to add beads onto, and then you can use some pliers to adjust the end of this finding so it goes directly through that little tiny loop that is already in place for you. And then our final item is a pair of these spiral head pins. They are a 19 gauge and 2 inches long, and of course have that really interesting flat hammered spiral design, making these look really unique and more artistic instead of just your basic head pin findings. So another great selection. I think findings for me personally aren't as exciting to purchase on my own. And with these companion packs, I feel like they really pick out some unique things. They've always been great quality, and I'm always happy to use these things in my jewelry making. So that's an optional add-on. And then we get to the double gemstone beads of the month club. And we're going to take a look at this selection of green aventurine. Every time you get this, it'll be a different type of stone, and you're going to get 4 to 7 different containers of both beads and also potentially some pendants or focals. Looks like this time we have 6 containers to go through, and as usual, everything's listed on the front, so we know what we have. And here's a brief flip over before we get into everything. I'm just going to get organized, and I'll be right back so we can look at each of these items up close. First up is a container of 50 pieces of the 6mm rounds. Here's an example of a number of them in my hand so you can see them up close. They have some translucency to them and just slight variations in the green color, but very similar for the most part. The sizes are very uniform and they've got a great saturation of green color. Container 2 is holding 72 pieces of the faceted 4mm rounds. So these will be our smallest bead for this particular selection, and overall the color is not quite as concentrated as some of the other beads. They're coming across as a bit more of a light sage green. And looking at these closely, you can see the faceting that is on the outside. Not extremely angular, but enough to give it a little bit more of a juicier textured appearance, disrupting the light a little bit in those areas on the surface. In number 3, we have 10 pieces of 8 by 12mm faceted teardrops. These are so gorgeous. They have the high concentration of green and they're more on the opaque side. And then they get a little bit lighter as you get to the top where the stone is smaller and where that hole is located. At the base of these beads, you can see that's where the faceting is concentrated the most. And these are all in great shape and very uniform as well. The holes look to be drilled cleanly. I'm not seeing any that are broken. In container 4, we have 4 pieces of 17 by 18mm faceted clovers. These are really cool. I like that unique shape. They're not totally flat, which you can see as I move them a little bit. You can see how they have just a few of those cuts on the surface. And the hole is located there at the side, as you can see, running directly through the length of the beads. And in container number 5, we have 2 star pendants. They are 25 by 8mm. And these two pendants are also in great shape. So this is an easy example to compare to if you were to get the single size club in the gemstone variety. Instead of getting two pendants like this, you would likely get one. So you'd get the same number of tubes of beads and selection, but you'd get half the quantity. So just consider that if you are trying to figure out which size is best for your needs. These stars are nice and thick. They're cut very well too. They also have the wire already pre-inserted in there with a loop at the top and a bail provided for you if you want to use those. And these are both very consistent and smooth to the touch. And then our sixth and final container holds the 5 to 8 millimeter size green aventurine chips, and we have a total of 25 grams. So here are some of them in my hand, and with a bunch of them all together, you can see their relative size, pretty much what you expect with the gemstone chips, all of them being just a little bit different, and the shade of the color varying slightly from bead to bead. Some are a little bit lighter, and some have that darker shade of green, with some being a little bit more transparent and some more opaque. And I have a lot of projects actually that include gemstone chip beads. If you look back through my tutorials and maybe just do a search for gemstone chips. And also a video I did a while back, 10 ways to use gemstone chips in your jewelry making. So check out that video if you haven't already. Sometimes they can seem a little bit more challenging to use, but there's really so much you can do with gemstone chips, and it's a great way to add a little bit of texture. And when you combine the chips with some of these other shapes of green aventurine, you can make some really cohesive designs, but use all the really interesting angles and shapes and texture from the gemstone chips to combine with, say, your more uniform and smooth beads to create a whole different look. So that is all I have for today. As a reminder, if you are a subscriber to one of their bead clubs, you also get access to 3 free downloadable and printable patterns every month. And every month the selection changes. You'll get a link that's printed on the bottom of your paper invoice that comes in your package. So be sure to take advantage of that perk that comes along with this. I've been sharing Beads of the Month Club for a long time. They are so consistent and their customer service is excellent, not just from my experience, but hearing from so many of you as well. So I highly recommend their company, and I think it is a great way to get a selection of things you know that you'll use for yourself personally. For example, if you are somebody who primarily uses gemstone beads and you like stringing, it's a consistent way to get something like that every month. I'll be back probably next week, as usual, to show you their 2-hole and hot and trendy bead clubs that I also receive, because those happen to be 2 of my personal favorites. But I genuinely do like each and every single one of their clubs. I love rotating through all of them, and it makes for a high quality monthly beading surprise that can help keep you inspired. So don't forget you can use that coupon code OPAL10 if you would like to try out one of their clubs, and I'll also leave that as well as the link to their subscriptions right down below the video. Again, all the details are there about everything you need to know about all their different options, so check that out and see what specifically might be right for you. I think they did a great job with this green aventurine selection. We've got a solid selection of things from the more common rounds and chips, but also some really unique, almost carved looking, larger, chunkier pieces and pendants, and also those lovely faceted teardrops. And multiple pieces could certainly be made from what we see here. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think of this month's club or anything else you'd like to say. I always love to hear from you. If you haven't yet, be sure to subscribe to my channel. I'd love to have you back. And also you might see some of these items show up in future finished pieces and or tutorials. If you enjoyed the video, definitely give it a big thumbs up. I always hope these are helpful for you to see the various subscriptions that are out there up close so you can see what options are out there that speak to you. And of course, feel free to share the video wherever you like. That's all I have for now. I will be back again real soon. I hope to see you all then. And until next time, I want to wish you a wonderful rest of your day. And as always, happy beading.